Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tammy and this is Happiness Created. Today's video is part of the Salvage Saturday hosted by Theresa from Theresa B DIY, and the co-host is Jamie from Simple Roots Simple Living, and we're also joined by Sammy from Unicorn Dust Designs. I am so honored to be part of this collaboration. I love these ladies. They are uber talented, super amazing women. I hope that you will go check them all out. If you don't know who they are, I don't know who doesn't know who they are anymore, but if you don't, go check them out. I promise you won't be disappointed. I will have all of their channel links as well as the playlist in my description box down below. Now, with all that being said, let's get into the DIYs. DIY number 1. I have this piece of Trex board I found in the garbage and I just cleaned it up really well. I'm taking the white Waverly chalk paint and doing a very heavy dry brushing. Then I am going to take one of the little planks from the Dollar Tree, comes like 6 in a package or whatever, and I gave that one coat of the Waverly white chalk paint as well. Then I have this vinyl that I got from Hobby Lobby and these little pumpkins I got from the Dollar Tree last year. So right now I am dry brushing the orange pumpkins with the white Waverly chalk paint, and then I took the vinyl from Hobby Lobby and I just cut them to size. And then I'm just going to take that little finger blade thing. I don't know what it's called, but I love it. And I'm just going to go around the edges of the vinyl and trim it all down. Now, once I get this first piece of vinyl down, I realize that the orange just isn't going to work. It just kind of clashes. So I'm taking some of the Folk Art Terracotta paint in the color Pueblo, and I am going over the pumpkins in that orange, and it works perfectly. It matches perfect, and I love it. So I'm just going to do this with all 4 of the pumpkins. I'm painting them and putting the vinyl on them. Then I used some of the vinyl and my Cricut to cut out the word welcome, which I'm going to put on that white plank. And then I did also cut out some of the black letters in, I wrote out fall. There we go. Say it, Tammy. Say it like you mean it. Anyway, so I'm just going to put 1 letter on each of the pumpkins, sort of like they already were, but in the black instead. And then once that's done, I'm going to take the board and I'm just going to lay everything out and figure out how I want it to all fit on this board. Once I get them all lined up the way that I want them, I'm just going to take some hot glue and I'm going to hot glue them right onto this piece of Trex. Then I'm going to take some of the leaves that came in a bag last year. I haven't seen them this year. But anyways, I'm just going to take some of the leaves and I kind of stacked 2 on each or on each other. I don't know. I stacked 2 of them and I hot glued them together and stuck it kind of under the pumpkin a little bit. There was just enough room. And then I just kind of tack it onto the board just to make sure they don't go anywhere. Then I have some of this cording that I got from Hobby Lobby last year. I love it. There's so many fall colors. And I ended up buying like 10 rolls because I wanted to make sure I had enough. So anyways, I wrapped that around the top and the bottom of the board. And I apologize, the bottom was out of frame when I did it. So I just kind of cut it out. But anyway, then I'm going to take some more leaves and some flowers and some berries and I'm just decorating the top, doing the embellishments, if you will. And then I have those pit berries that are on that wire, this thing right here. Yeah. And so I'm just going to take that and I kind of wrap it around one of my Cricut tools, and then I just pull it off. And I do this twice and put one of the pieces on either side of the flowers at the top. Then I didn't want to put the ribbons that were already on the pumpkin back. So I got this like twine stuff from Dollar Tree. It's part of the Halloween collection, I think, or maybe it's just fall. I don't know. I found it in the Halloween section, but anyways, so I'm doing finger bows and I just wrap it around my finger a bunch of times and then take another piece of the twine and kind of cinch it in the center and just tie it tight in a knot in the back. And then I'm just going to hot glue it right to my pumpkin. And I do that with all 4 of the pumpkins as well. And then once those are on there, that's it. I love this thing so much. It's about 4 feet tall. It's not super tall, but enough. So I love it. I have to say, I'm so proud of myself for this. For all of these projects, really. The other ladies in this playlist salvage stuff all the time and they do amazing work. This is truly my first like salvage video. So that being said, let me know what you guys think of this one. And I want to let you guys all know that I am on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest. I will have all of those links in my description box down below. Come on over and say hi. I would love to hear from you. Now let's get into DIY number 2. So I found this old medicine cabinet on the side of the road, and I meant to record it before I tore it apart and I forgot. So I took the doors off and then one of the shelves, which I'll be using later. So the 2 doors here, I took the handles off and I'm just gonna fill it with this wood putty spackle stuff. And this stuff's really cool. It's pink, but when it dries, it's white. I'm sure you've all seen that before, but it was kind of new to me. I thought it was pretty neat. So I just filled the holes, and then I'm going to take this Rust-Oleum chalk paint in linen white, and I give these doors 2 coats. And it's okay that some of it's showing through. I don't mind. Then I take my little finger sander and I go around the edges just to kind of bring out the wood a little bit. I know I'm not explaining that quite right, but my finger sander, I couldn't find the little pads that you put on it, so I ended up just getting some regular sandpaper. It does the same thing. So anyway, I'm going around all of the edges on both doors just to distress it a little bit. So once I have them both sanded down, I'm going to take some more of that terracotta paint. I don't know if you guys have tried it yet, but it is so cool. You have to try it. It gives a really cool texture. But anyway, it's called Fresh Granite, and I'm going to take that and I'm just going to go around that ring on the inside. You'll see there, like that. And I do that on both doors as well. Now I have some tissue paper which is taped to some cardstock, and I learned this from Theresa. It was so cool. I had to try it and it worked out great. So you just tape the tissue paper to the cardstock and then you run it through your printer, which I just have a regular plain old inkjet. I think it's an inkjet. Yeah. Anyway, take it off. I ripped the edges and now I am doing some Mod Podging and decoupaging, and I am just going to put it right on the front face of the door. Now I'm using the sponge technique, which I learned from Brandy over at the DIY Struggle. And you just push it down and like there's no wrinkles. It's amazing. It's really super cool. But anyway, I do this on both of the doors, the printouts that I printed out, which I did get from Creative Fabrica. You guys got to check them out too. They're really cool. There's so much to choose from. So now that those are all dry, I'm taking some antique wax from Waverly and I'm just going over very lightly on the doors. Now I'm going to embellish it. So I'm taking some of those colored leaves. They're like orange and creams. And so I glued 4 of them together on this one corner. And what I did was, I guess I didn't do enough with the spackle or putty, whatever it's called. So you could still see some of the indentation from where the holes were. So I'm using the leaves to cover up where the handles were. So I end up taking just 4 leaves and I just tack them to the corner, like one's on the right side, one's on the left, of course, because that's the handles. I already said that. Okay. Anyway, so now I'm taking some of these little pumpkins with the clips on them from the Dollar Tree and my kitchen knife, and I'm just going to cut them in half. Now here you see me doing the green. I don't end up using the green. I do end up with the cream and the orange. So now I am going to just glue those, hot glue those right on top of the leaves. And then I'm taking some of these little berries. I had like some bigger berries and some smaller berries. And I ended up going with the smaller ones because I didn't want them to like overpower the little pumpkins. And then I just found some of these little orange flowers in my stash from last year. And so I figured I would just use a tiny, well, it's not tiny flower, but a smaller flower just to kind of jazz it up a little bit. And then once I get the corners here, you can see the one on the left-hand side. So I have some of this green burlap ribbon. I believe I got it from Hobby Lobby. There's not a lot left, so it wasn't even on a roll. So I'm just doing the awareness ribbon and I'm going to cinch it in the center. And then I'm taking some twine and I am going to just wrap the twine, or jute, I should say, sorry, around the center to hold it all together. And then I personally don't always like to see, I very rarely like to see the twine in the center or the jute in the center. So I will take a piece that I cut off when I dovetail the ends and I cover up the twine. That's a personal preference. And then I'm just going to hot glue the bows right to the top of the doors. And that's it. I am so in love with these projects. I can't even tell you. I think they're so, so pretty, but you have to let me know what you guys think. DIY number 3. Now I'm going to take the shelf that I spoke of earlier and I just washed it all off like I did everything else. And I'm going to take that same Rust-Oleum chalk paint in linen white and I covered that. I took 2 coats. Then I have this, galvanized pumpkin that I got in one of the grab bags from the $5 grab boxes from Michael's. It was like $30 just for this thing. So, and then I got a ton of pumpkins. Actually, one of the boxes that I got is filled with pumpkins. So anyway, I'm going to take some of the E6000 and I'm just going to add that to the bottom of this pumpkin. And then I'm going to also add some hot glue, and I am going to adhere it right to the top of this little shelf. Then I grabbed 2 of these stackable pumpkins that also came in a grab bag, and they were like $9.99 a piece. So I'm going to hot glue them right to the back corners of this shelf. Now I have these bags, which also came in the grab bags. I'm telling you, I got a ton. And I forgot to show you the bag with the cream colored pumpkins, but so I took the pumpkins out of the bags and I kind of stacked them. And once I decided how I wanted them to look, I hot glued them all into place. Now I'm taking some of the leaves from the Dollar Tree and I'm just going to kind of scatter them around the pumpkins on the top of the shelf. So once I have the leaves down, I have these fairy lights that were sent to me by For You, I believe is the name of it. It's ONFORU. And they're so cool. They're really bright and they're really thin and great for crafting. I will have them linked in my Amazon store. So I took some E6000 and I just glued them to the inside of this pumpkin and just kind of, clamped it until they dried. I actually left them overnight. So then I am taking some ribbon, and my son picked out the ribbon. And I just wrapped it around the edge of the shelf to kind of cover it up, because you could see some of the particle board because it only had the edging on the front. So anyway, once that was done, I decided that I was going to put some of the leaves on the back as well, in case somebody wanted to put this in, on their table as a centerpiece. The back will look finished as well. And then the front part right at the bottom of the galvanized pumpkin was a little sparse. So I put another half of a pumpkin there and then 2 of those buffalo check that I just showed you. And once that was done, I just started taking the floral to make an arrangement. Now, I think I'm going to go back and add some foam to the top of the pumpkin and put the florals in the foam, because you can see the stems of the floral when it's lit up. So anyway, this is the finished product. How stinking adorable is this? I love this piece so much. It's so adorable. Let me know what you guys think of this one. I want to thank Theresa for inviting me to participate in this collaboration. I am so honored. I will also want to thank Jamie and Sammy. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a great big thumbs up for me. It really helps me out. If you're new to my channel or coming over from the playlist, welcome. I hope you'll consider sticking around and hit that subscribe button. And don't forget the bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a brand new video. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to join me. I truly appreciate you all, and I will see you next time.